Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and today I'm doing another interview. The person joining me today is a performer. They've appeared in musicals and movies. Some of these include Frozen the Tour, and they've also been in Newsies on camera and also on stage. It is with great pleasure that I welcome Daniel SWITZER to my YouTube channel, and today he's going to be sharing some of his acting stories and some advice he would have to all of you guys. So please welcome Daniel.
Hey, I'm Daniel SWITZER. I am a Broadway performer, and I've been in a lot of shows. I've been in things like Wicked, Frozen, Newsies, and Cats, and I'm excited to be here with Charlie today.
Thank you so much for coming, Daniel. So today I'm going to be interviewing you. I've got 10 questions based on kind of your performing career, things that you've been in, and about yourself. So my first question for you is, when did you first get into the acting industry?
I was interested in theater when I was really, really young. And so my mom got me into dance classes when I was really young. And then I got into like community theater when I was young. But like professional acting in my theater career didn't start until college. And so that was about 10 years ago. And I started doing like summer programs, summer stock, and other kinds of things like that while I was in college.
Yeah, that sounds really great. Did you kind of do shows when you were at college as well?
I did. So I auditioned for everything that was at the school that I was at. And then I went to this mass auditions is what they call them. And you get to audition for a bunch of different companies. And so I worked at those companies.
Yeah, that sounds really fun. What is it like being on the Frozen the musical tour?
It's pretty cool. It's pretty fun. We got to do like 4 cities before we were shut down, but it's just a lot of like good times with the cast, and everyone there is like a family, kind of like a theater family. I'm sure everyone who's done theater knows what that's like, but it's even more fun because we get to go see like the cities together and see like the sights and do all kinds of activities throughout the cities that we travel in.
Do you get to like do it after COVID again? Do you get to go and do the tour again?
That is the hope. Yes, we are all hoping that after the pandemic, Frozen, the tour will go back and we will all get to go back.
Yeah, fingers crossed, hopefully. When you go to the different cities, are you there for a few days, or do you kind of go for one day and then move to another city?
We're there for usually a couple weeks. Like the shortest is like 2 or 3, but usually we're there for maybe 4 to 6 weeks.
Oh, that sounds quite fun, because then it gives you kind of enough time to go around and explore everything around it too, so that's really good.
Exactly.
So my next question is, what was the audition process like for Wicked the musical?
Yeah, that's really interesting that you asked that, because I think it's pretty specific. Wicked is like one of the, it's the most like epic musicals out there, and the audition process is pretty epic and pretty intense as well. So for me, I started with some Bach sides, and I was sent in by my agent, and I went and I read for Bach, which Charlie, you'd be a really great Bach one day, so look into that. Yeah, and so I went in singing Bach and doing the scenes for Bach, which are all with like Glinda, I'm pretty sure. And then I was asked to dance, and I danced for the dance team. And then I was like, okay, I guess that's it. And then no, it was like another day of dancing, and then another day of auditioning and singing again. And then I thought it was done at that point, and I was like, I didn't hear anything for the next few weeks. But with a big show like Wicked, they're always looking and they're always putting people on file. So I got called like 6-7 months down the road, and I thought it was done for. And yeah, I got the part for understudy of Bach, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that does sound really fun. Was it kind of weird waiting like half a year to find out what happened?
It was weird, because I definitely like put it away. I was like, okay, that didn't happen, and I got over it. And then getting that call was like kind of like a shocker. Like, whoa, this happened. You did book the audition then. They just had to wait. So, yeah.
Yeah, what a nice surprise for you there. Do you have any advice to people who want to get into the acting industry?
I have lots of advice. One of the best things that I could give advice on right now is to be yourself. I know it feels weird to say that when you're like stepping into characters and you're acting, But when you are able to express who you are truly as a person in an audition room and then on stage as well, and throughout that whole process, you get to make connections with people. And that's the connection to the audience that everyone is always striving for, is some real, is like, be yourself and be who you truly are and believe in what you believe in. So my best advice is to be 100% yourself and like step into what that feels like.
Yeah, that's some great advice there. Thank you so much for sharing that. I think people can take a lot from it, so thank you. You appeared in the film Newsies. What was it like being in front of the camera and that production?
It was kind of bizarre. So being in front of camera and doing theater is weird, because when we are doing theater, we're looking usually at the audience and we're playing towards the audience. But when there's a camera involved, you're supposed to like pretend to not look at the camera, because if you're looking straight in the camera, then it's like, hey, I see you. So that was just bizarre, to say like, ignore this floating object that's usually not there. But it was also really cool because we knew that like the shots that they were getting were so epic, because the camera would be like winding around the stage and getting all the different shots.
When you auditioned for Newsies, was it kind of different to when you auditioned for musicals? Was the film audition different to that, or was it kind of the same?
So actually the film, we didn't have to audition for. It was based on the people who were on Broadway and on the tour, and they just put them all together. But the audition process for Newsies is very intense, because it's such a dance-heavy show that they always spend a lot of time dancing in the audition.
Okay. Yeah, that's really interesting, as I know Newsies is, like you said, a dance-based thing, so that's good. If you weren't an actor, what profession do you think you would have been in?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm a yoga teacher sometimes when I'm not doing theater. And I also have interests in like community building and entrepreneur stuff, because I have lots of ideas. And I think that goes hand in hand with theater and acting, because we are creative people and we have lots of different ideas coming into our head. So I don't know, maybe like an inventor, maybe?
Yeah, that sounds like an interesting thing. Have you had any like ideas in the past that you want to kind of boost in the future?
Yeah, so I have, I've written a web series called Living the Dream, and I have other ideas of plays and musicals and maybe even TV shows that I want to write, like these stories that have come to me in my life, and or stories that I've seen in my life. And, it doesn't come to life if we don't write it, so.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Yeah, you never know, maybe in the future that will happen. Do you have any goals for your career in the future?
Do I have any goals for my career in the future? Yeah, I want to step into all the possibilities of what acting is. I definitely love musical theater and I love Broadway, so I am open to how that could expand, like getting into lead roles, and as I get older, stepping into more adult roles. And then also TV and film is always on the radar, but I don't pursue it as much, but I would love to be open to the idea of that.
Yeah, that does sound really fun. Maybe hopefully in the future you'll be able to do things like that too. So, my next question is, what was it like being in Cats the musical?
It was weird. Cats is a bizarre thing, and I think it has like with the general population, the community, that it has kind of like a up and down kind of feeling. So I came from a background of like really loving dance and really loving theater and really loving Cats when I was a child. And so when I stepped into it, I was so excited. And then being a part of it, it's kind of like this like weird dynamic of like, well, people don't really talk about it like it's the best thing. Even with the movie that just came out, it didn't really have the best reputation. But besides that, it was really fun to like pretend to be an animal and to move like an animal and dance like an animal, because it's so different than being a human. And everyone at Cats and Andrew Lloyd Webber's team, they take it very seriously. And so we learned all the different maneuvers and mechanisms of a cat and what it means to dance like a cat.
That sounds very interesting, like dancing like a cat. Was that kind of difficult to get used to that?
It is. They do this thing called Felinity, and it's like a 5 to 10 minute warm up that they encourage people to do before the show. And it's just like moving differently, like a cat would move instead of a human. And they spend like maybe an hour or 2 hours in the rehearsal teaching you these movements. And it's about like articulating the spine. And so, yeah, they get into the details of it.
Yeah, it does sound quite difficult, to be honest. How long ago did you do Cats? Was that like a few years ago, or was it? I don't know how long ago that one was.
That was at the beginning of my theater career. So right out of college, I got cast in Cats. And so that was about 10 years ago.
Yeah, that's really cool. Do you look up to anyone in the acting world?
I do. I look up to a lot of people. I'm trying to think of someone who's like really good person to... You know, Cynthia Erivo, who is a Brit as well, and she came over to the US with Color Purple. I really love her work, and I love that she's been able to step out of musical theater and Broadway, and now she's stepping into TV and film. Cynthia Erivo, and she's such a philanthropist as well. She is just a lot to look up to.
Yeah, she sounds like a really good inspiration to have. So we have one more question for you, and this is my favourite question, and it is, do you have any funny acting stories?
Yeah, so I'll tell you a story about Wicked, the musical. I wasn't on stage, I was backstage, but I was listening to the show because they play it backstage, and it's time for Madame Morrible's entrance, and the wizard says, "And here's Madame Morrible," or something like that. And there's a pause, and there's crickets, and we're all like, well, that's not normal. And then he goes, "Madame Morrible?" And then you hear on the microphone, oh, I'm coming, Your Osnes. Oh, I'm on my way. So I see Madame Morrible running backstage across, and her dresser is following her, trying to get her costume on her. And she totally missed her entrance, and it was... I feel so sorry for her. I've told this story a couple times, and hopefully, I'm not going to say her name. How about that? But the Madame Morrible went on stage with a half zipped up costume, and I'm fine, Your Osnes. And they went along with the scene like nothing had happened, but it was pretty clear that, that wasn't supposed to happen.
Yeah, that sounds a little bit scary for that person. Were you kind of laughing when that happened, or were you like really scared for the people?
All of the ensemble backstage, we were laughing pretty hard. I mean, some people were like shocked and like, oh, is she okay? But things like that never happened, but once in a blue moon, it never happened again. And so you can't help but to laugh and just think it's silly.
Yeah, 100%. So we've came to the end of the interview now, and it's been great learning about some advice you have and some experiences you've been part of. So thank you so much for sharing everything you shared today.
Yeah, thanks, Charlie.
You're most welcome. So also thank you to everybody who's watched this video. I hope you have a lovely day. Like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you next week for another interview. Bye everyone.